The little girl had not laughed in nearly 2 years. Doctors had tried. Therapists had tried. Her mother had spent millions searching for answers. Yet on an ordinary sunny afternoon, a security camera recorded something that no amount of money had ever accomplished. When the CEO watched the footage, she froze in disbelief. The stranger who had brought joy back to her daughter was a struggling single father carrying nothing more than kindness, patience, and a worn-out backpack. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel so our community can continue sharing stories that remind us the human heart is stronger than hardship. Vivian Hartley had built one of the largest architectural firms in the country. Her reputation was legendary. Investors admired her discipline, employees respected her determination, and competitors feared her intelligence. Every decision she made was measured, calculated, and efficient. Yet there was one challenge she could never solve with spreadsheets or board meetings. Her 9-year-old daughter, Eliza, had withdrawn into complete silence after surviving a devastating car accident that had taken her father. Although Eliza recovered physically, the cheerful child everyone remembered disappeared. She rarely smiled, almost never spoke, and seemed to carry sadness far heavier than any child should ever bear. Vivian poured everything she had into helping her daughter heal. Specialists from around the world visited their home. Private tutors introduced art, music, and every imaginable activity. Beautiful vacations, expensive toys, and carefully planned experiences produced nothing but polite silence. Eliza simply stared through windows, holding the stuffed rabbit her father had given her before the accident. The mansion became quieter every month, and the enormous success Vivian celebrated publicly felt completely meaningless inside those walls. Every Saturday morning, despite her demanding schedule, Vivian insisted on taking Eliza to Riverside Community Park. Doctors believed fresh air and familiar surroundings might slowly encourage emotional healing. They always sat on the same wooden bench overlooking a small playground filled with children chasing each other under bright blue skies. Eliza never joined them. She simply watched from a distance while clutching her rabbit. One warm Saturday, Vivian received an urgent phone call from her company's legal department regarding a construction dispute that threatened thousands of jobs. Reluctantly stepping only a short distance away, she continued watching Eliza through the park's security cameras connected to her phone while discussing contracts. That was when something unexpected happened. A little boy accidentally kicked his worn soccer ball beyond the playground fence. The ball rolled directly toward Eliza's feet. Before Vivian could worry, another man hurried over, apologizing with a warm smile. He wore faded jeans, an old work shirt with paint stains, and boots showing years of hard labor. Beside him stood the energetic little boy, perhaps 7 years old, nervously waiting for his father to retrieve the ball. Instead of grabbing it immediately, the father noticed Eliza holding her rabbit. Rather than speaking endlessly or forcing interaction, he simply knelt several feet away and gently balanced the soccer ball on top of his head. Pretending to lose control, he stumbled dramatically across the grass until both he and his son collapsed into harmless laughter. Then he tried balancing the ball on one shoulder, then one elbow, acting like the world's clumsiest athlete. His son laughed so hard he could barely breathe. For several seconds, Eliza continued watching without expression. Then something impossible happened. Her lips slowly curved upward. A tiny giggle escaped. Moments later she laughed again. It was soft, uncertain, but undeniably real. Vivian nearly dropped her phone. She watched in complete disbelief as tears filled her own eyes. The stranger never realized what had happened. He simply picked up the soccer ball, thanked Eliza with a respectful nod, and walked away with his son after wishing everyone a beautiful afternoon through nothing more than a kind smile. Vivian immediately requested the security footage from the park administration. She replayed the video countless times that evening, searching for an explanation. There was no magic trick. No expensive therapy. No carefully designed psychological technique. There was only genuine kindness offered without expectation. determined to find the man. Vivian visited the park again the following Saturday. The same father returned with his son at exactly the same time. His name was Grant Mercer. He worked multiple construction jobs after losing his wife to a sudden illness 3 years earlier. Raising his son Rowan alone meant every dollar mattered. Some weeks he skipped meals so Rowan could attend school field trips or play youth soccer. Life had been relentlessly difficult, yet Grant carried himself with quiet optimism that inspired everyone around him. Vivian introduced herself and thanked him for unknowingly creating the first genuine laugh she had heard from Eliza in years. Grant seemed embarrassed by the attention. He insisted he had done nothing extraordinary. He simply believed children deserved moments of joy whenever possible. Vivian invited him and Rowan to join them for lunch at a nearby cafe. During that bright afternoon, something remarkable continued unfolding. Eliza never spoke much, but she remained close enough to observe Rowan building tiny towers from sugar packets while Grant transformed paper napkins into funny animals. Every few minutes another tiny smile appeared. Vivian realized she had spent years trying to buy happiness instead of allowing simple human connection to heal what money never could. Over the following weeks, the families met regularly during daylight hours at the park. Grant never pressured Eliza. He never asked difficult questions. He simply included her gently whenever Rowan invented games involving sticks, leaves, clouds, or imaginary adventures. Little by little, Eliza began participating. She collected colorful stones, she fed ducks, she helped build miniature bridges across shallow streams using fallen branches. Every smile felt like another sunrise after years of emotional winter. Vivian found herself watching Grant with growing admiration. He never complained about financial struggles despite obvious hardship. His clothes remained patched, his pickup truck frequently needed repairs, yet Rowan was polite, confident, compassionate, and deeply loved. Grant measured success differently. To him, success meant his son slept peacefully each night believing the world still contained goodness. Several months later, Vivian learned through casual conversation that Grant's employer had suddenly gone bankrupt without paying workers their final wages. Overnight he faced overdue rent, mounting bills, and uncertainty about supporting Rowan. Without revealing her identity as the owner of several development projects, Vivian quietly arranged interviews with contractors she trusted. Grant declined every recommendation. He believed opportunities should be earned fairly, not gifted because someone pitted him. His pride surprised her. Rather than forcing assistance, Vivian asked if he would consult on one of her company's community playground renovation projects. She explained they needed practical advice from someone who understood how families actually used public spaces. Grant accepted because it respected his skills. During the project, executives initially questioned why their powerful CEO cared so deeply about involving an ordinary laborer in planning meetings. They soon discovered Grant possessed extraordinary insight. Instead of focusing only on budgets and appearances, he constantly asked how children with disabilities would access equipment, where exhausted parents could comfortably rest, and how neighborhoods could safely gather together. His ideas transformed the project. Parents praised every improvement, community leaders applauded the thoughtful design, employees began respecting Grant not because of his background but because of his wisdom. Meanwhile, Eliza's recovery accelerated. She started painting colorful landscapes again. She laughed during picnics. She even returned to school with cautious confidence. Teachers noticed she willingly helped classmates who felt lonely because she now understood invisible pain better than most adults. One afternoon, while reviewing security footage documenting construction progress, Vivian noticed another unexpected moment. The camera showed Grant stopping work when he noticed an elderly man struggling with heavy grocery bags nearby. Without hesitation, he removed his safety helmet, carried the bags across the street, repaired the old man's broken walker using tools from his truck, then returned to work nearly half an hour late. No supervisor had seen it. No reporter had recorded it. Grant assumed nobody would ever know, but the security camera had quietly captured everything. Vivian understood something profound. The same kindness that had awakened Eliza's laughter was not a performance. It was simply the way Grant lived every day. She decided the company needed more leaders like him. Despite lacking a university degree, Grant accepted a newly created position overseeing community engagement and construction quality because his integrity inspired entire teams. Some shareholders criticized the decision. They argued executives should possess polished resumes and prestigious Credentials, Vivian calmly answered that character remained the rarest qualification any organization could ever find. Months later, those same shareholders admitted productivity had increased dramatically, employee turnover declined, communities welcomed projects that previously faced resistance because residents trusted Grant's sincerity that he listened before speaking, that he solved problems instead of assigning blame. Most importantly, he reminded everyone that every blueprint ultimately existed to improve someone's daily life. One beautiful afternoon nearly a year after their first meeting, Riverside Community Park hosted the grand opening of the newly renovated playground. Families filled every corner, children laughed beneath bright sunshine, colorful balloons danced gently in the breeze, volunteers served lemonade while local musicians performed cheerful melodies. Vivian stood quietly near the same bench where everything had begun. Eliza ran across the playground with Rowan, laughing so freely that strangers smiled simply hearing her happiness. The sound once believed permanently lost now echoed across the entire park. As cameras documented the celebration for local news, a reporter asked Vivian which expensive treatment had finally restored her daughter's smile. Vivian looked toward Grant helping several children safely climb a play structure before answering with complete honesty. She explained that healing had begun the moment one exhausted single father chose compassion instead of convenience. He had offered patience instead of pressure, joy instead of sympathy, and kindness without expecting recognition. No medical breakthrough or financial investment had accomplished what one generous heart had freely given. Many viewers watching that interview later searched for Grant's story after hearing about the security camera footage that first captured Eliza laughing again. They expected to discover a famous motivational speaker or celebrated child psychologist. Instead, they found an ordinary father who believed every child deserved to feel seen. The story spread because people recognized something they desperately needed to remember. Greatness is often hidden inside ordinary moments. Heroes rarely announce themselves, sometimes they simply stop to make a lonely child smile. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Before you go, tell us in the comments about a small act of kindness that changed your life or restored your faith in people. Your story may become the hope someone else has been searching for. As the afternoon sun gently warmed the park, Vivian realized the greatest investment she had ever made was not in buildings or businesses but in believing that goodness still existed in ordinary people. Grant returned to playing soccer with Rowan while Eliza chased after them, laughing without fear, carrying her old stuffed rabbit tucked safely under one arm. The painful silence that had once filled their lives had been replaced by friendship, healing, and hope. In the end, no fortune had purchased that miracle. It had grown from one simple decision to treat a stranger's child with patience, warmth, and compassion. That quiet moment, captured forever by a daytime security camera, became living proof that the smallest acts of kindness can create the biggest miracles, and that even the most broken hearts can learn to laugh again when someone chooses love over indifference. I can also